Any thoughts?
What's up, YouTube? So, huge announcement from Tesla last week on Monday. They announced in their annual report that they had purchased $1.5 billion worth of Bitcoin. They also announced that they will soon be taking payment for their cars in Bitcoin. Tesla does have about $19 billion in cash or cash equivalents on their books. So this represents about an 8% diversification into Bitcoin. Tesla is making big money moves. They stated that the reason for doing this was to diversify and maximize the returns on their cash holdings. In my opinion, this is a really smart move by Tesla. I mean, holding $19 billion while inflation is on the rise is basically just lighting billions of dollars on fire. You're just tossing away $380 million a year in inflation, at least, which comes out to billions of dollars over years. So a lot of people don't realize, but because Tesla is part of the S&P 500, now all the investors that own the S&P 500 ETF actually own a small portion of Bitcoin. So, Bitcoin used to be like super fringe, super, non-mainstream, and now it's basically embedded into the S&P 500, which is incredible. Incredible feat for Bitcoin. I personally, this news is like, just, you got these two huge names that are growing rapidly in two incredibly disruptive technologies, EVs and autonomous driving. Tesla is the biggest name. This is a rapidly growing industry. And cryptocurrency is taking off like crazy, and Bitcoin is at the helm. And I think the convergence of these two big names is, I was just so excited when I saw the news. There was a tweet somewhere out there that they basically said, essentially Elon just gave permission to all the CFOs out there to move a portion of their cash on hand into Bitcoin. If Elon did it, why shouldn't we do it? It's really exciting times that we live in with all these disruptive technologies that are just going to the moon, and really just changing the world that we live in. I don't even know if we can fathom, in 10 years, what our cryptocurrency is going to look like. Is Bitcoin going to be the reserve cryptocurrency? I don't think any of us know, but I think we can all agree that blockchain is the future. The thing that we can't quite grasp is, investing in all these currencies when you don't know which one is going to be the adopted, when you don't know which cryptocurrencies are going to be adopted, is very speculative and risky. But I think, Elon, leading by example, he just said, Bitcoin is a good thing, and he went for it. And I think that's the type of leadership that will bring us into the next era. Not a bunch of people that are scared of change, but rather embrace it. So what are the negative implications of Tesla doing this? I think a lot of analysts who see Bitcoin as extremely speculative, like Warren Buffett said, it's basically worthless. So I think a lot of these analysts are going to be really upset at this move from Tesla. And I think we've seen a little bit of that in the price fluctuations last week. I think Tesla kind of moved like sideways and downwards a little bit last week. And I think a lot of that is, some analysts are skeptical. So Ron Barron, a Tesla bull, he said he's not surprised that Tesla purchased $1.5 billion of Bitcoin, given Elon's increasing interest in cryptocurrency. And I think this quote by him I just really have to agree with what Ron Barron says here. He says, "I'm sure a lot of thought went into the Bitcoin purchase by Tesla, and I look forward to learning the rationale." I just think that's I'm sure that Tesla really thought, I'm sure that they thought about it before they made this decision. And I don't think And yeah, it's going to be exciting to hear more about why Tesla did it. So I think Tesla has done a really good job of pushing into new technologies and not worrying what traditional investors think, but rather just following their instincts on where the world is going and how to best maximize, their mission. And I think, we're going to find out just the way that, we found out that they did this with electric vehicles, autonomous driving, soon to be autonomous driving. I think we're going to find out that in the end, we'll find out that Tesla was right about Bitcoin. Fingers crossed. I think an 8% diversification into Bitcoin by Tesla is somewhat conservative. It's not like they put their entire cash holdings into Bitcoin. This is a calculated risk. They know that there are risks associated with this, but I think the potential upside from doing this outweighs the potential downside. And I think a lot of thought went into this, and I think that it was a smart decision. And it just seems logical that other companies are going to follow suit. Tesla said, this is the cryptocurrency that we're backing. It's the largest one. I think other companies are going to say, hey, I'd rather be next in line than be late to this party of owning an appreciating asset on your books. Even given the volatility of Bitcoin, I just think that there wouldn't be a meaningful enough impact that it would affect Tesla doing business. So from that standpoint, I think Tesla as a company and their future is not at risk based on this big money move that they made. And I think, I'm really excited about it. I'm really, I understand why I understand why investors would be concerned about this move. A few months ago, before I started really diving into Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, and I still know nothing, by the way, but a few months ago I was skeptical as well, and then I went through the same journey that Elon probably did. Yeah, so there's another downside to diversifying your cash on hand into Bitcoin, and that is basically for accounting purposes. I guess when they report their earnings, if the price of their Bitcoin holdings goes down, they will actually have to include that as a loss in their earnings. But if the price of their Bitcoin holdings goes up, they actually can't include that in their earnings. So from this accounting perspective, basically Bitcoin's earnings can only be negatively affected. But obviously this doesn't truly affect their earnings. It's just kind of like an accounting hiccup, which I guess a lot of investors are worried about, because sometimes, people invest based on their perceived, when you see price to earnings ratio, I'm guessing, that's going to affect how people invest, and that this could affect that number. But I think fundamentally, this isn't going to affect their earnings unless we see a crazy big fall in the price of Bitcoin. I think it'll do the opposite. Anyway. Oh, also, I just saw a notification pop up from TechCrunch in an article. Basically, I guess India's transport minister kind of leaked some information on Twitter that Tesla is actually planning on building a new factory in India, which is insane. I mean, there were talks of Tesla opening up a little satellite sales, some showrooms or something. But the fact that Tesla is, in talks with India about building a new factory is pretty exciting. I don't know that much about it, but already a new factory. I mean, they're just planning on finishing the Austin and Berlin factories this year. So they're already doubling the amount of factories. But it's not a surprise. It's all very exciting stuff. Anyway, I don't want to get too off topic, but I just thought that was interesting. What's your price target for Bitcoin this year? Do you guys think other companies are going to adopt it? Who do you think the next company is going to be to adopt it? I personally think Apple has a good chance of adopting it, just because Apple has a lot of cash on hand, so they would stand to benefit from diversifying into Bitcoin and having a better return on their cash on hand. As well as Apple Pay, I could just see, we see Square has a cash holding, Square has a Bitcoin holding, and they allow you to transact with one another with Bitcoin. So I could see Apple Pay adopting a similar feature. PayPal, who owns Venmo, acquired a bunch of Bitcoin as well, and they plan on doing the same thing this year. So why wouldn't Apple Pay, follow suit? It just makes sense. I think you'll be able to buy your Tesla with your iPhone using Apple Pay and purchase it with Bitcoin. What do you guys think? Who do you guys think is going to be the next? Who do you guys think is going to be the next large company to diversify their cash into Bitcoin? Anyway, so good talk, guys. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to my channel. Try to post about Tesla, Bitcoin, investing, and frugal living, saving and investing, etc. If you like this video, please make sure to hit the like button and notification bell so you'll be notified every time I post a video. I appreciate all the support, and you guys have a lovely day. Peace. Peace out. Money thoughts. Save and invest your money. Stop.